Chairman of the Board of NIQS Foundation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, like somebody said at the beginning, when they are talking about you, you feel that you are not the one. But let me add to your worries. But it's going to be comforting to the women. I am one of 13 in my family, and 10 of them are women. I have 7 elder sisters and 2 junior sisters. So I think that gives you an idea that I am a he for she. But that is not all. I am married to 3 PhDs. Two of them are professors. The other one that is not a PhD is a Justice of the Court of Appeal. So I think that one gives you an idea that what we are going to talk about is not going to be that. But what I don't want is what appears to be a major preoccupation of women. You are already above men. It is not about equality. I think it is about harnessing the differences and make the society better. I don't want to hear that we want to be equal, because you are already ahead. I want to believe that the issue of equality is not at all, because definitely whether you want to agree or not, we are not the same, we are different. So it is not about trying to be equal, but it is about trying to make impact. Let's see how we can work together and complement each other. So I don't want the idea of equality. I want the idea of everybody playing his part. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we are gathered here today, we are embarking on a transformative journey to reshape the entire industry, the construction industry, to empower women and create a more inclusive future. The construction sector has long been characterized by its innovation and ability to mold the physical world around us. However, it faces critical challenge: the underrepresentation of women in its workforce. Statistics are saying that only 16% of those in the construction industry are women. In order to address this challenge, we must be what I call practical. The first P in practical is about partnership and collaboration. That what we're talking about is that we need to identify those things that women have strength in, and also those ones that women in the industry, so that we can now work together. We need to also develop what I call a resource group that will then advance the idea that women should participate more in the industry. There is also need for accountability metrics. And that is to say that let us try to see those areas that women can do better within the industry and let them take part in those ones. Those ones that require real physical strength, allow it for those that have the strength. There is also the need for community engagement and outreach. That is the C in practical. There is also the need for inclusive hiring practice. Like you have heard in the urban shelter, the real issue that she has not said is if 6 men are becoming fathers and only 2 women are becoming mothers in there, how many is the ratio of the workforce? You may find out that the women are only maybe 20% of the men. So if at the end of the day, there it is 2 to 6, it is still within the same ratio. So, but what we require is an inclusive hiring practice, that if there is space for engagement, let it be that we are positive that we are looking for women to also take a position. Like, I had the privilege of listening to a case yesterday where a PhD candidate is advocating for seat for women in the parliament. And I said to her, it is in a democratic setting. It might be difficult, but we can arrange it. For instance, you say, of all the senators, 3 in the state, let there be 1 that is a woman, and let it be on a rotational basis. If it is this one that in this particular period that is a woman, another one, the next Senate seat it can be arranged in such a manner to introduce that altercation in the political arrangement. There is also the need to look at culture of constructive feedback, where what is it that is the challenge of women, let it be reflected so that it can be addressed. In the advertisement before recruitment also, let it be specific that we are looking for this kind of gender to work. Then it also requires leadership commitment. That is the L in practical. We need to address the unconscious bias that exists in our industry. We need to recognize that women are just as capable and competent as men in constructive role, as we need to create a culture that supports and empowers them. You see, for some of us, from the community we come from, at the very beginning, we thought that women are not as intelligent as men. But by the time that I reached the secondary school level, I realized that that notion was wrong. Because in the kind of environment I come from, in those days, I'm talking about 40, 50 years ago, women don't really go to school. At the age of 13, 14, 15, they just married and they continue their life. But now it is different. So at that time, those of us that were men were taught that women don't go to, they cannot do anything, they are not intelligent at all. But by the time that I entered secondary school, and in the secondary school I went to, government secondary school, there are Igbos, there are Yorubas, there are all sorts of. And at the end of the day, you find out that the first exam we did, it is a woman that became number 1. And we were just, where from? And it is not as if it is only us in class that were surprised. The whole seniors gathered us and said, what do you mean? How can you allow a woman to be number 1 in your class? And it was an issue. And at the end of the day, you find out that, well, we tried harder, and that was the end of the story. She never became number 1 again. Our recruitment practices must evolve to address this issue. Let us move beyond traditional ways and explore untapped talent through partnerships and educational institutions, with partnership with educational institutions, mentoring program, and targeted outreach initiative. We must highlight the exciting unbiased opportunities within the construction industry. We need to promote training and development opportunities that are tailored to the needs of women. We need to create flexible work arrangements that allow women to balance the work and family responsibilities. An inclusive workplace solution perspective and promotes equal opportunities. When women feel valued, respected, and not discriminated, they are more likely to remain committed and successful in their careers within the industry. We need to hold ourselves accountable for achieving gender diversification. We need to set targets and metrics. We need to track our progress. There are certain basic factors, however, that makes this desired diversification, which I term influence. First, it is the income. You find out that most of the issues that you want to do to train people, it requires some level of income. And if the income of your family is not as much, the choice naturally is to maybe train the men and forget about the women. But I want to believe that with some little adjustments, we'll find out that we can do better in terms of training of women. There is also that negative perception of women abilities that I have explained before. There is also the issue of family obligation. There is also the limited job flexibility. There is also the unequal job opportunities. Education and scholarship are tailored towards a situation that maybe favored only the men. There is also the issue of nurturing and mentoring. There is also the issue of cultural dominance, exposure and low self-confidence of those involved. Today, I urge each of you to become an agent of change, commit to fostering gender diversity within our organizations, engage in constructive conversations, challenge norms, and champion diversity. Remember, progress is not solitary endeavor. It is a collective movement that requires the active participation and support of all stakeholders. As we envision a construction industry that reflects the richness of our global community, let us recognize that diversity is our greatest asset. Together we can build a future where every woman's voice is heard, every opportunity is seized, and every barrier is dismantled. Gender diversification is not a nice to have, it is a must to have for the constructive industry. It is a business imperative and moral imperative. Let us work together to create an industry that is inclusive, adverse, and prosperous for all. However, we need to diversify. In order to diversify, it requires disturbance. We need to make conscious decisions. We need to improve adaptability. We need to have social responsibility and ethics. We need to have team problem solving, understanding of culture, resultant business outcome, better representation, access to under-talent pool, networking with all, creativity and innovation, enhanced reputation and brand. Thank you very much.